Welcome into another episode of New Mexico State Sports Weekly. I'm your host, Adam Young. It's our special Roundtable edition of New Mexico State Sports Weekly. We do this once a year, and we have a great group of coaches on with us today. We'll have 8 coaches during the course of today's show. We have 4 coaches on with us right now on today's episode. We have Erica Hughes, women's basketball assistant coach at New Mexico State, coming off a great year. We have Zane Vance, the defensive coordinator for Aggie football. A busy time for Aggie football. They just wrapped up their spring football game. We have Kathy Rodolph, who's coming off another WAC championship with Aggie softball, and Mike Jordan, who's won a bunch of championships here at New Mexico State with Aggie volleyball. We'll start with Coach Erica Hughes. 22 wins this season, took on Maryland in the NCAA tournament. Still on cloud 9 after the great year?
Yeah, it's been great. I think our kids are finally starting to let it sink in, and they're really enjoying the off season and looking back at how well we did and how well we competed, and it's definitely given them some confidence going into next year.
Has there been a different level of confidence within your program right now?
Yes. I mean, we did postseason individuals and watching the kids, how they're working, how they're getting in the weight room, what they're doing with us on the floor, them together, really taking things seriously now after the success last season.
Kathy Rodolph, a great year already. It's not done yet, but congrats on the WAC championship.
Thank you very much. I feel like it's been a great year for New Mexico State in general, and lots of championships, and we were just hoping to bring our part.
Best year you've had here at New Mexico State, you think?
Well, back in 2011, they still have a lot of the records, but we're close to breaking them. We were selected 44th in the country that year, and now we just came out 49th. So I think tit for tat on both seasons, but this is the most depth we've ever had.
Aggie volleyball and Aggie football coming off their spring seasons. Coach Jordan, we'll start with you. How did your spring season go?
Great spring, Adam. Revamped a few of the things we've done, moved some players by position, and really worked hard at teaching them to compete every day, make that a priority. Did some statistical changes that helped motivate them a little bit, and we saw a lot of growth. It's been a great spring.
I don't think a lot of fans really know how important the spring is. This is really key to your success in the fall, correct?
It is. You know, when we start practice in early August, the incoming freshmen get 2 weeks to prepare until we start playing our schedule. So it's difficult to really improve them in the fall. This is where we make a lot of strides, skill-wise and system-wise, getting them to understand what we're doing so that they're a little bit more prepared. And I feel a lot better going into this fall than I did last fall.
Coach Vance, the defensive coordinator for Aggie football. It's been a busy couple of weeks. Your thoughts on the spring game?
I thought that we competed really well. One of the real goals was not only to slow the teaching down and try to do things perhaps slowly but well as far as implementation, but we wanted to be physical. We wanted to see people get hit, wanted to be in the right places, and we're also in a time of teaching because Coach Martin taking over the offense. So essentially they have a new offensive coordinator. I took over the defense in late January. So we had two new coordinators there, and I felt like for the goals we set, I felt like we accomplished those.
Which individual shined in your eyes on your defense?
I was really impressed with the play of Stephen Meredith at defensive end. Felt like that Stody Bradley at defensive end, that whole position group, Kalea Lua, Noah Brown, those guys, they kind of changed the dynamic of practice for us. People talk about if you could get pressure with 4 rushers. Well, we were getting pressure with 2 with those guys. So I felt like they had a great spring.
So what's next for you guys as you get ready for the fall?
Well, we're going to meet, obviously, like some of my constituents have said here, we're going to meet post-spring and evaluate the players, tell them where they stand, and then we've got to hit the road recruiting and spend about a month trying to look at the current juniors that are the rising seniors, get all that put in order, and get that organized so when we come back for the fall, we know who we're recruiting.
That's a good segue. When we come back on New Mexico State Sports Weekly, we'll talk recruiting with these 4 coaches, Erica Hughes, Kathy Rodolph, Mike Jordan, and Zane Vance. Stay with us. This is New Mexico State Sports Weekly. Welcome back to New Mexico State Sports Weekly. It's our special roundtable edition of the show. We'll have 8 coaches on today. Right now we have 4 coaches with us, 4 great ones as well. Erica Hughes from Aggie women's basketball is with us. We have Kathy Rodolph from Aggie softball, Mike Jordan from Aggie volleyball, and Zane Vance from Aggie football. We want to talk recruiting right now. Recruiting's been big, Coach Hughes, in your success for your team last year with the 22 wins. How has recruiting changed from the end of the season to now? I know it's only been a month, but I'm sure it's changed a little bit.
Well, it's really nice when you win. I'll tell you that. Coach Track said before, it was kind of selling hope. Now it's selling, hey, we've done this, come be a part of something great here. So it's definitely helped out. I know Coach Track definitely went out there with the WAC Champions women's basketball t-shirt on when we were out last weekend in Texas, so it's been great.
Do you think people know more about Aggie women's basketball because of the national television exposure as well? We talked about this last week. You guys were on ESPNU and ESPN3 a ton, especially towards the end.
It was great, especially regionally where we recruit up in Arizona, out in Texas. We get a lot of love from Texas, and they were able to see the production. They were able to see, us in the locker room, and it was all around just a great opportunity for our program.
And Coach Rodolph, with the WAC championship, I know that will do some things for recruiting offensively. With the numbers your team continues to put up year after year, do hitters want to come to Las Cruces, I expect?
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like it's one of those qualities of the program that basically Kat runs our entire offense, and she goes out and she recruits pieces of her lineup, what she needs, whether she's looking for short game and speed or if she's looking for the long ball. We signed 6 in the early period, and I believe 2 of them are leading all of Southern California in home runs. And we've got some really big shoes to fill in the seniors that we're losing. But it also helps me in recruiting pitchers because they know that we're going to give them some run support, and every pitch is not going to be win or lose the game.
Building on that, your pitchers have been really good this year. When you go recruit pitchers, what do you look for?
Well, I honestly look for kids that can do multiple things. Like I've got a hard-throwing lefty, I have a hard-throwing righty, I have a spinner righty, so that I can actually have a staff and I can bring them into the game and change the dynamics of the game. And hopefully by the time the kids adjust to timing, I could go to another pitcher if I needed.
Coach Jordan, head coach of Aggie Volleyball, how has recruiting changed for you year to year?
It really hasn't changed much, interestingly enough. When 12, 13 years ago, when we really started to have a lot of success, kids will listen to us more. We get a foot in the door a little bit more often, obviously. It's nice to be able to flash the ring, that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, we still struggle recruiting against the big dogs, the BCS football powers that they get to be on TV all the time, or the beach schools like San Diego. We're 0 for 4 when it comes down to recruits. When it's between us and them, so I think we've gotten our foot in the door a little bit more with more athletes, but we're still getting top-notch athletes that we have to teach how to play, and that's really kind of been the way it's been my entire career here. And fortunately, we've gotten some pretty good ones, and they've developed over their time.
And Coach Vance, facility upgrades, really big for you guys. The turf, now at Aggie Memorial, and also the upgraded weight room. I'm sure that's played a huge factor.
Oh, absolutely, and plenty of other plans in the works as well, as far as locker room improvements. I think I don't know what you call them, skybox, press box improvements, that sort of thing. But absolutely, the field is terrific, and the weight room stands apart from really about any weight room in the country. Our guys are always quick to point out that the next school that has the next closest number of iPadded weight room racks is Alabama, and that's pretty good company to keep. So you're excited about taking the players in there and showing them those things, and certainly a point of pride for us.
Coach Vance, Coach Jordan, Coach Rodolph, Coach Hughes, they're all with us here on New Mexico State Sports Weekly. When we come back, we're going to ask those 4 coaches, what makes New Mexico State so special? We're glad you could join us today on New Mexico State Sports Weekly. It's our special Roundtable episode. We have 4 coaches with us right now, and we want to find out what they think makes New Mexico State so special. So we'll start with you, Coach Hughes. We'll just go around the table, let us know, why is New Mexico State so special in your eyes?
Community first. I think, coming from my college experience, and I know Coach Trax as well, having people here that genuinely care about your student athletes, it goes such a long way with the overall student athlete experience. And then also, as I'm sitting in great company here at this table, you have people here on faculty, on other sports that truly want to help. You see Aggies supporting Aggies, you get the word out. You have our kids supporting softball, softball going to football, football showing up at volleyball. It's an awesome atmosphere for all these student athletes here, and I think that that's probably, up there for the experience.
I couldn't agree more. I feel like New Mexico State is an environment to where, it's a true college town, and I believe what really makes it is the coaching staffs and how they support each other. We meet with each other's recruits. If we have somebody important coming in, we want to show them that it is a big family type atmosphere, and I believe that we've got 100% graduation rate, and I believe the reason that we do is the smaller, safe environment allows the kids to get in a little bit of trouble, but nothing ever life-altering, and it allows them to grow up, and just seeing each other at each other's sporting events or getting tagged after you win, you constantly know that you matter here.
Coach Jordan?
I agree in a lot of ways. The support here from the community is tremendous. We made a decision years and years ago to let our players stay out after games to meet with the fans and talk with the kids, and obviously a big retirement community, and they've adopted a lot of our players. They know them really well, and they're invested in the program, and that kind of support is tremendous. When you come to an Aggie volleyball game and you got a couple thousand people in the stands, that trumps a lot of the Pac-12 schools and what they're doing out there. They're not drawing as well as we are. There's not tailgating before games like there is here, and that kind of thing. So it's a really neat environment, and I agree with Kathy in a lot of ways. The people that I work with on a daily basis are tremendous people, and they make it a lot of fun, and you feel like somebody's got your back all the time.
Coach Vance?
Well, I have a unique perspective because I'm probably the newest one here, and everything that my constituents have said is right on the money. I think it's gorgeous here. When I brought my kids out here, they're like, "Wow, Dad, it's like a cowboy movie." It's a beautiful place. The people are really friendly. The campus folks are really friendly. When we have recruits on the campus, we have other sports that run ahead of us to say, "How can we help you?" We've had equestrian people put on shows for our football guys, which they're not going to see anywhere else. And as I said, as my fellow coaches have said, a little bit more, almost more high school like we're all kind of in this thing together and pulling for one another. And we certainly piggyback off the success of all their other programs and how well they're doing. We get that out there. We tell our recruits that, and I think they sense that when they come here. And to me, that's a huge advantage.
How about the fan base? Because we got a glimpse last year when you guys took on UNM, how good that crowd can be and how useful it can be at Aggie Memorial.
There's no question. I was at Kent State for 8 years before I came here, and obviously we played some similar games that we will play here as far as named opponents and so forth. And my 15-year-old was on the sidelines. He said, "Dad, this was more like a college football game than anything you've ever done." It was loud, they were active, and I was really excited. And that's what I know this town can be, and it's our job to, from the football perspective, to get it to that point every Saturday.
And Coach Jordan, you touched on it. The Pan Am Center is big. It's a 13,000 capacity facility, but Aggie volleyball still draws over 1,000. It's a great atmosphere.
It is a great atmosphere. We, when we had our showdowns with Hawaii, we had 7,000 people in the arena one match, and when you do that once, you want to keep doing it again. So obviously, we're hopeful that we keep winning and that the administration continues to support and maybe even does more for us to get us those kind of crowds. And we just got to get people there and show them what we got.
And Coach Hughes, Coach Rodolph, have you guys seen improved attendance, improved support from fans after success?
Oh, yes. I mean, us for the outright conference championship at Pan American here at, the Pan American Center, it was amazing. And then to see, like I said, athletes to lifers that have been with us since the first day to, new fans to kids, it was tremendous. It was awesome.
We have been fortunate all year long to pack the stands, and when you win, it's easier to do that. A lot of times our fans bake out there in the sun, and so we truly appreciate the extra effort that they go to. This last weekend when we won the championship, I saw men's golf out there, saw a lot of different sports out there, and it just makes you feel good in your heart and know that collectively we can all make a difference.
Coach Hughes, Coach Rodolph, Coach Jordan, Coach Vance, we appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
When we come back on New Mexico State Sports Weekly, we'll be joined by 4 new coaches. It's our special roundtable episode. We hope you stay with us. We're back after this. Welcome back to our special roundtable edition of New Mexico State Sports Weekly. I'm your host, Adam Young. 4 new coaches with us here at the roundtable. We have men's golf head coach Mike Dirks. He's coming off a WAC championship. We have women's tennis head coach Ivan Fernandez, baseball assistant coach Mike Brown is with us, and we're also joined by men's tennis head coach Carlos Vargas. All right, we'll get started. Coach Dirks, first off with you, coming off a WAC championship, you had to be impressed by the way your team played.
We played great all 3 days. All 5 of our guys hung in there and shot great scores, and when you have all 5 of your players in a round as long as we did, good things can happen. I mean, we didn't have the individual winner at the end, but man, 4 of our guys finished in the top 10, and that's what you need to win, is you have to have consistency. We had a lot of that.
I think it's safe to say you guys cruised to the win. Were you surprised how easy it was?
It wasn't as easy as it looked. Winning by 13 is not a lot. I mean, that's 1 stroke a day per person. When we got to the back 9 on Wednesday, about with 8 holes left, we had a good chance then, but it's stressful. It's not easy. You've still got to get good shots, and you still got to perform.
Coach Brown, I want to go back to 2 weeks ago. You took on Grand Canyon, you won 2 of 3, and it was a really exciting weekend. Kind of showed how exciting Aggie baseball is right now with Mike and Judy Johnson, the stadium dedication. What was that weekend like?
It was unbelievable, and we needed it. You know, it just reflected how great of a time it is to be an Aggie and be involved in the baseball program. And the town of Las Cruces supported us, and you know, we were lucky enough to play well and keep the vision rolling and keep the energy going.
It's your first year with Aggie baseball, and a lot of renovations are going on right now. How much has it changed from when you got here last summer to now?
A 180, and literally right now there's full gutting of our clubhouse and our locker room and all the coaches' offices. So it's a whole different look. If you were to see it 4 or 5 months ago, you wouldn't recognize it. So dramatic.
2 more tennis championships, WAC championships to my right. We have men's head coach Carlos Vargas. How excited are you one day after winning the WAC championship?
Wow, it probably hasn't sunken in yet, but it was pretty emotional yesterday. Very emotional, and I'm just so proud about the guys, the way they handle the just adverse situations. I mean, from sickness, illness, weather, late arrivals, early departures, you know, and the guys just hung in there. They wanted it. They were focused the whole time, and I'm very proud of this group.
Coach Fernandez, women's tennis had the same situation with the weather, and you guys had some injuries during the course of the season. A nice culmination there in the end.
No, definitely. I mean, we finally played with our full lineup on Sunday in the championship match. So I mean, that was very exciting to see. And again, a lot of issues that we had to kind of overcome over the weekend of the tournament. But you know, again, I think it just came down to who wanted it more, and we were determined after losing in the finals last year. I mean, we wanted to turn that around, and we got it done this year.
How tough was the weather there in Kansas City?
Well, just, you know, not knowing, you know, and having constant rain and having the matches pushed back, you know, 30 minutes here, 40 minutes there, 2 hours, and then finally having to go indoors. But I mean, the conditions were the same for all the teams, you know, so it was just about who could, you know, adapt and overcome the best.
Coach Brown, recruiting is always big in baseball, and you've been heavy in the recruiting recently. What do you look for when you're looking at players right now?
Personality. I mean, and obviously ability and skill, and the baseball side of it has to take care of itself. But personality is something that is really, really important to us. And Coach Green does a great job of locking in on personality guys and good makeup guys and character guys. And if you don't have the right people in the program, regardless of the ability, it's not a good fit. Mm-hmm. So that's our main objective, is to get a guy who wants to get better and has some personality.
And Coach Dirks, winning another WAC championship, making it to the NCAA tournament, how much does that help in recruiting?
I think success helps a lot, but you got to find the right people to keep that success going. I mean, when we look at young kids, it's how you handle adversity, not how you handle success sometimes. It's when things get tough, can you produce? And that's, I think, what we're looking for, but it sure helps recruiting winning. And there's a lot of kids that now are interested in New Mexico State. These last 3 years, we've won the WAC and advanced to the regional championship, and we're getting looks from a lot of different people. Getting them on campus and seeing our place, that's what it's about. We'll get the great ones coming pretty soon.
Coach Dirks, Coach Brown, Coach Vargas, and Coach Fernandez. More to come with these coaches after this on New Mexico State Sports Weekly. It's our special Roundtable edition of New Mexico State Sports Weekly. Glad you could join us today. I'm your host, Adam Young. We're joined by 4 coaches right now. We had 4 different coaches on earlier with us. We have men's golf head coach Mike Dirks, coming off a WAC championship. We have women's tennis head coach Ivan Fernandez. Mike Brown, assistant baseball coach at New Mexico State, is with us. And Carlos Vargas, the head coach of men's tennis at New Mexico State. I want to ask a general question to all of you guys, and Coach Dirks, we'll start with you. What makes Las Cruces and New Mexico State so special?
I think for us is what we're selling and what we found is family. I really think we're all together. We're all fighting the same battles. We want to be successful. Las Cruces is behind our golf program and the kids at the school are involved behind us too. Everybody seems like it's a great family. Even though we're separated in offices, I think everybody pulls for each other. And to me, that's special because you're not just playing for your own sport. You're not just playing for yourself. You're playing for a program. And my kids are buying into that. I think that's what's helping us.
And Coach Brown, you played at Kentucky. You're from California. The head coach of Aggie baseball, Brian Green, is a guy you think very highly of.
Yes, sir. And I think the way when he outlined Las Cruces and just kind of the program and the Aggie pride, he was dead on. I mean, literally the first day we were in Las Cruces, we were cleaning the field, and there was 11 alumni, baseball alumni at the field, which you don't really get in very many places. Every place I've been, the alumni support hasn't been there, and the community involvement is so passionate and just so hungry for success. It's a pretty unique place.
Coach Vargas, why is New Mexico State so special?
You know, going back to family, and I think it's something that Las Cruces grows on you. I've had people from all over the world, and somehow years later they find their way to come back, either send friends, people they know, players they know. They bring their family, their kids. So it's a place that grows on you, and I know exactly why. I mean, I'm not originally from here, and here I am 30 years later. I'm still here. So it's something about Las Cruces that just keeps you here.
Coach Fernandez?
You know, something very similar to that. I mean, family is the key, you know, and that's one of the things that when I'm recruiting players, I tell them that, you know, instantly you're going to have a new family when you come here. You know, like Carlos, most of my team is international as well. So, I mean, they're far from home. So we have to take on a lot of responsibilities as far as, you know, their daily, you know, kind of interactions. But, you know, the way that the athletic department is here and the way that the coaches all pull for each other, I mean, that just makes our job so much easier. You know, like winning the WAC championship yesterday and receiving text messages from all these coaches and everything. I mean, that's what makes it special. You know, knowing that everybody wants everybody to succeed, you know, because they know that any success in any sport is going to help their program as well. You know, so I think that's what makes this department so great.
The weather is obviously outstanding in Las Cruces. Rarely does it rain. It's usually 80, 81 degrees. Is that a recruiting pitch for you?
Of course. I mean, being able to play outdoors all year, I mean, is definitely something that we like to sell. And, you know, and the fact that we've got an amazing facility. I mean, you know, for a school our size, I mean, look at our golf facility, look at our tennis facility, look at what baseball's doing. I mean, there just aren't very many schools this size that have facilities like we do. You know, so once we can get the kids here and have them take a look at that, I mean, it's a much easier sell.
Same for you, Coach Vargas?
Same thing. I sell a lot on the weather, facilities, and they're surprised when they get here. To tell you the truth, they don't imagine that being here in Las Cruces, New Mexico. But when they get here, they're pleasantly surprised, and I think it's a quick sell. Once they take a look at it, they're sold. They want to come here.
Coach Brown, you guys had a baseball camp. I think it was right around Christmas in December, and I saw a picture of you guys wearing T-shirts, shorts. Las Cruces weather plays a big part in recruiting for you guys, right?
Huge. And coming from you know the southeast region, it's a whole different ball game, and it's an easy sell, and it's true. I mean, it's 350 days of sunlight, and in all of our games, really. I mean, we learned this weekend, Wyatt. Yeah. Baseball in the cold is not as nice as it is in the warmth. So yeah, it's a huge pitch, and it's exciting for guys from cold weather states to come down.
And Coach Dirks, you can play golf in December. What's better than that?
I think for us, it's what we sell. It's what golf is. I mean, you can play golf all year round, outside on the grass, hitting golf balls, seeing the flight of the ball, all those things that some of the northern schools can't see. And having a golf course on campus that's as good as ours, and that will let us do what we want to do. I mean, the weather here is perfect for golf. I love it.
Finally, for all of you guys, I want to ask you a question. What's the vision for your programs? And Coach Dirks, we'll start with you.
Our vision is to compete for a national championship. That's what we sell kids on. I haven't won a national championship. I finished 4th. This is the best I've done. I tell the kids I have goals, and they have goals. So our vision is to get in the match play of the national championship and compete for that title, and I think we can do that.
Coach Brown?
Ours is to be an RV program that Coach Green has outlined, and you can win here. The weather, the town, the support. We got to get the right personnel, and we got to turn this thing into a regular top 25 program is our vision.
Coach Vargas, Coach Fernandez, coming off WAC championships, your visions?
Well, we met one of them, which was to win the conference, which is a first time for NMSU tennis, and then to go on to nationals and get into at least the second round. We haven't passed the first round. We've been there twice because of our national ranking, but have not been able to get to that second round at least. So that is one of our goals for now. So.
You know, again, our goal was to, after losing last year in the finals, to come back this year and win the WAC title, and we've accomplished that. And I mean, going to the NCAAs is always a goal. We were able to meet some individual goals this fall as well, with one of our players getting into the All-American and you know, getting ranked in the country. But obviously, you know, competing for a national championship would be amazing. I mean, I just don't know if, you know, how long the plan would be for that. But, you know, we're going to keep working hard and keep recruiting, and hopefully we can keep this team, you know, going in the right direction.
Coaches, continued success, and thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tickets for the WAC softball tournament are on sale right now. The tournament will be held in Las Cruces, May 7th to the 9th. To be part of the excitement, call the Aggie ticket office at 575-646-1420. You can also get your tickets online at nfstatesports.com or ticketmaster.com. That will do it for this week's installment of New Mexico State Sports Weekly. I'm Adam Young saying thank you for watching, and go Aggie.